Hello, my name is Paige Listerud, and we're here at the offices of Eclipse Theater. We're speaking with Nat Swift and J.P. Pierson and Nora Fiffer about Eclipse Theater's Arthur Miller season and their latest production of Resurrection Blues, which just opened about a week ago. And I want to thank everyone for joining me here for this discussion. First, I just wanted to open the floor with why picking Arthur Miller for an entire season. I know Eclipse picks one playwright and does a whole season's worth of productions, but why Arthur Miller?
We have within the ensemble an artistic committee that starts off the process each year, and so each season we have a pretty long and complex process of looking at a couple of playwrights and reading some of their plays out loud and spending months arguing about those different playwrights just within the ensemble. So there are a couple of things that I felt like were a big part of that discussion, but ultimately it comes down to a vote from within the ensemble. But a couple of things that were kind of a part of that dialogue as we went along. One was that we just finished our 2-year-long celebration series. We had done 10 years of one playwright, one season, and we took 2 years to celebrate that and go back and re-explore our 10 featured playwrights. And we felt that coming out of that and coming back into the format of our mission statement, we wanted to come back with a really strong writer and somebody who was a really important writer in the landscape of American theater, and so Arthur Miller certainly fits that bill nicely. We wanted a playwright who challenged us artistically and got us excited artistically, and Arthur Miller certainly fits that bill. And then I think we also wanted a playwright who really spoke to a contemporary sense of who we are as theater artists and who we are as Americans. And I think and feel strongly that Arthur Miller does fit that bill very well, although it's hard to pin down some of the exact reasons for it. But I think you're seeing certainly in the popularity of Arthur Miller throughout the city this year that there is something in his writing that people are responding to that's relevant and resonates strongly with artists right now. And from your perspective, JP sat on the artistic committee. Nora is a member of the ensemble as part of that process as well.
I remember someone saying it's Arthur Miller. It's Arthur Miller. Like I don't know if he's come up before in the 10 years or.
I think there was actually a profanity or two in between.
There was, yes, yes, there was.
But he has come up before. He has come up before in discussions.
And it was interesting because in really kind of part of being on the artistic committee, really kind of reading everything that he wrote, not just the plays, but the prose, his novel focus, even some of his essays on theater, essays on politics, and he's got a couple of really brilliant op-ed pieces he wrote for the New York Times, which, interestingly enough, have a lot to do with, I think, what probably helped form Resurrection Blues in his mind. He talks about the privatization of the death penalty and the privatization of Congress. And they're all kind of these witty, very clever satire bits that he's written. And the more and more we really got into the canon, it just kind of became obvious this was someone who, at least I think for all of us, was not getting a fair due for what he's actually accomplished in the American theater landscape. And so I think bringing his stuff, especially his unknown stuff, was a real big importance for us as well.
At the same time, I mean, yes, it's Arthur Miller, yet you're doing lesser-known works of Arthur Miller. I know there was some attempt to get All My Sons, which another theater eventually got, but some of the plays that you've chosen, there's a certain contentiousness about whether they're, quote, worthy Arthur Miller works that you're doing. And, wouldn't you felt safer or more comfortable with something like, Death of a Salesman or Crucible or some big Arthur Miller thing, which everybody agrees is, and could bring a lot of people into the theater. And, let's face it, Eclipse, is facing an economic crisis like everybody else in the artistic community. So, why the lesser known stuff?
And that did become an issue, actually, at one point. We did, originally we had proposed A View from the Bridge, because we did think we needed one of the biggies on there. We lost that because of the Broadway revival of Liev Schreiber. So we didn't get the rights to that at all. And then we were kind of going back and forth with several other scripts that also fell through because other companies had gotten it. But I think the more and more we kind of looked at it, we wanted to offer something different. And again, going like what we said before, that this is a playwright whose extensive canon is, one of the most impressive that we have. He constantly is changing himself. He is constantly finding new ways to express his ideas. And that's not very common with a lot of playwrights. And not only that, at least that generation. Not only that, but a lot of wisdom in all these plays. The wisdom that just kind of carries through all of these plays is just extraordinary. And I think it was just really important to us that we really kind of give him a fair shot of just the entire canon and not just like the 5 that he was really known for.
I think also, for sake of context, my first season with Eclipse, my first full season, was in 1999. The Tennessee Williams season, which was the second of the one playwright, one season seasons that we did. We went through the Tennessee Williams season with productions of Confessional, Eccentricities of a Nightingale, and Suddenly Last Summer, were our 3 productions for the Tennessee Williams season. And there was a feeling, and something that we consciously talked about, of saying, other companies can do Streetcar Named Desire. People can see that frequently. What we do and what our mission statement really obligates us to do is to dig deeper and to give a lot of the plays that don't get produced very often the opportunity to come out of the canon and have the chance to explore them. And I think that experience in '99 was something that was really instructive to me and to a lot of the other ensemble members, of being able to see what it is our mission statement really does for us in terms of selecting programming. And I think that did hold through to the Miller season here. I think that there was, as JP suggested, also kind of a tension between that and the economic reality of the financial situation that the world is in right now, of thinking that it would be great to have a big name. But artistically, I'm really happy that we ended up with this season where we've got the Chicago premiere of a newer Miller play that nobody had seen in Chicago, that hasn't gotten a lot of productions yet. After the Fall is a really well-known play academically and critically, but not a lot of productions happening in Chicago. And Memory of Two Mondays is a beautiful early play that hardly ever gets produced anywhere at all. And so for us to have the opportunity to do that, I think, was really important for us.
Nora, you're part of After the Fall. Were you part of the process for selecting the plays for the season?
Yes, the Artistic Committee narrowed down the playwright selection to 4 playwrights. From there, the ensemble voted, and then once we had decided on Arthur Miller, then it came time to choose the plays. And the Artistic Committee presented some combinations of plays as a potential season. And then from there, we voted as an ensemble. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So together we decided the order of the plays, and it was a bit of a roller coaster ride of emails with all of the battling for rights. We had...
It sounds like a huge battle for rights and a constant change going on trying to secure things. So, that's an indication of Miller's popularity right now nationwide, just how much you have to, keep shifting your plans, when something falls through.
Yep.
Wow.
We were very agile for a couple of months.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what the season was going to be.
Very suspenseful.